Hello, fellow human being on the opposite end of the screen, and welcome to Existential Delight. My name is Dylan Goos, and at the time of recording this, it is Tuesday, the 17th of November, 2020 AD. Let's jump right in. Dionysius Exiguus. Do you know that name? Dionysius Exiguus. He was born in the year 470 AD in Scythia Minor. Today it would be around Bulgaria, Romania, that area. And Dionysius was a monk, according to the Roman statesman Cassiodorus, and an abbot, according to tradition. He was a brilliant scholar in Rome, a theologian, astronomer, mathematician. And this raises the question, what relevance does this guy have to our lives in this current year, and why am I telling you any of this? Well, his relevance to the current year, and every other year, is found in the fact that he developed the Anno Domini system. You know, BC and AD. So Pope St. John I, he asks Dionysius to prepare a chronology, which is just a method we use to order time and explain the sequence of events. And the Pope wants to set out the dates of Easter for the year 527 all the way to 626. And so consequently, in the year 525, Dionysius creates the Anno Domini dating system. He's about 55 years old at this point, and 19 years later, at the age of about 74, he dies in Rome, circa 544 AD. Now, most people know that BC means before Christ, but if you were never informed, you might think that AD means after death, as in after Christ's death. But AD is actually Latin for Anno Domini, which means in the year, Anno, of the Lord, Domini. The full original phrase is Anno Domini Nostri Jesu Christi, which translates to in the year of our Lord, Jesus Christ. When dating events, it's helpful to have some kind of historical reference point. This is the epoch, a moment from which we measure time, something that signals the beginning of a certain period of history. And so Dionysius decides to begin with what he considered to be the year of Jesus' birth. And AD is every year since, while BC denotes the years before Christ's birth. Now, this is why there isn't a year 0. AD 1 is immediately after 1 BC. We go straight from the times before Christ into the years of and since his appearance on earth. Okay, so now, some reflections. Right now we're living in the year of our Lord Jesus Christ. And I love this line of thinking because it splits history in two. When I wake up in the morning and see the calendar on the wall, every time I look at the year, I cognize the fact that many years ago, something truly bizarre happened. So bizarre, in fact, that if one believes it, one's entire life changes. Namely, that God Himself, the eternal, infinite, unchanging and endless, perfect love, perfect truth, and perfect happiness, the ultimate standard by which all truth itself is measured, that ultimate entered into our human history, into the very time and space it had created, and appeared to us as a human so that we might understand it. I cannot truly relate to squirrels or octopi, even though they are creations like myself, and so naturally I would not be able to understand or relate to the Creator of all, since my nature remains so vastly different. And yet, by His incarnation, by His coming in the form of a man, He opens the doorway by which we might begin to perceive the divine. By coming as a man, His nature is united with human nature, fully God, fully man. And we murdered Him, tortured Him, humiliated Him. all the while he endured and begged that we might be forgiven, for we did not know what we were doing or who we were doing it to. He enters into the darkest part of our nature and then flips the light switch on, thus degrading, dethroning, and undermining the darkest evils and their power over us. For he himself has been to the darkest evils of reality on that cross, and in that very darkness sets ablaze an eternal light. This event was so bizarre and so strange and nuclear that the very way by which the Christian perceives history itself is informed and shaped by that point at which God became man. My goodness, what a bizarre thing to comprehend. Where does one even begin? What an incredible idea. One of those ideas which pierces the heart that grasps it. A common expression, "That's too good to be true." The real truth is too good to be false. And when one tastes it, one tastes the first and only real truth we are given while wandering the darkened, deserted deserts of falsehood which we call the world. Finding the truth is one thing, facing the truth is something else. Many reject falsehoods because they are clearly evil, but how many more reject the truth because of its overwhelming goodness? One also cannot help but pause to ask, who was this man really? He himself asks each of us this very question, just as he asked his disciples. Who do you say that I am? Depending on your answer, so too your life. Because just as the Christ came and changed the world, so too does he enter your life and divide it. He cuts with a sword through the darkness of your total self-reliance and turns your gaze towards eternity. What he did to world history, he does to your history. Just as when one falls in love and is captivated by a new narrative for their life, so too does Christ captivate us, extinguishing the BC years we once occupied and now placing us firmly in Anno Domini Nostri Jesu Christi. Every living Christian was once a dead pagan, and now because of Christ, even history itself is alive. No longer a mere succession of dates, sequences, and events, but a sacred and intimate unfolding of experiences leading to the moment when the author of life himself appeared. We tried to put a full stop down, to place a period and put an end to his presence, but he is the author and we are not. And being the author, he took our full stop and turned it into a comma.